What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I have a new installment in my Rupture in the Machine split review series to do for you guys, and today we're going to be talking about the new split from the bands Heresiarch and Antediluvian, entitled Defleshing The Serpent Infinity. This is released on Iron Bonehead Productions. We're going to get started by talking about the Heresiarch side of the split first. I've talked a bunch about Heresiarch on this channel in the past, but in case you need a small refresher, they are based out of New Zealand, and they play this very militant, aggressive hybrid of black and death metal. Very, very consistent and strong band from the very get-go. Of course, they've put out a wide multitude of awesome demo and EP releases, most notably the Hammer of Intransigence EP and their Whale Wolf 7-inch. And then, of course, the very first full-length that they put out through Dark Descent Records a couple of years ago with Death Ordinance. Absolutely phenomenal debut. And the last time we had heard something from Heresiarch was back in 2019 with the incredible four-way split that they did with Trepidation, Serpents of Thirst, and Genocide Shrines, the Scorn Coalescence four-way split. Absolutely incredible. That one song that they did just gave you a glimpse of what they were working on next. And here on this split, we have three brand new offerings from Heresiarch. And the first two tracks of this split, with Lupine Epoch and Excarnation, are pretty much more of a continuation of what we know Heresiarch best for, what we love them for, and that is just straight out aggressive, in-your-face, hyperbolic death metal with black metal elements. I love the drumming. I love the energy on Excarnation. It is just infectious to hear this drummer sound so good with all the blast beats and the tempos. Hearing the riffs sound so strong and so energetic on those tracks is really awesome too. The bass work sounds very awesome too, and of course the vocals are great to listen to as well. That's one of my favorite things about Heresiarch is the vocal delivery. A lot of animosity, a lot of seething rage going on there, and I really appreciate that. But then we get to a song like No Sanctuary, which is something completely different. It's like this band is forging into a more experimental, dark ambient, almost death industrial sort of vibe with that track. You hear harsh vocals on there, but the music isn't really metal or death or black metal to be specific. It's something a little bit different, but also extreme in the same presentation. And I think that particular song shows a lot of growth and detail in Heresiarch's sound. And I really love that they went for it with a track like No Sanctuary. I would love to hear more stuff like that from Heresiarch in the future if they decide to do more music in that sort of crazy sort of direction. But when it comes to the Black Death stuff, I think Heresiarch know exactly what they're doing, and they create some really awesome new tracks, and it only makes me more anxious for a full-length from them. A new full-length from them, to be specific. Moving on to Antediluvian. If you're not familiar with Antediluvian, they are based out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And this has been a very, very well-known and well-established band over the last decade plus or so. Very avant-garde, very experimental, very peculiar in their musical deliveries, in their visual aspects, in their artwork, in their vocals, in their music. It's just a very weird kind of extreme metal band, but Antediluvian get away with that because they're so good at doing that stuff very well. Of course, you know, they've put out a series of great demos with Prehistoric Chaos and Under Wings of Azael. Of course, their Revelations and Excrement EP, to their two fantastic full-length albums with Through the Cervix of Hawa and Logos, to their wide multitude of split material with projects such as Temple Nightside, Witch Christ. They did that compilation for the tribute to the cold meat industry. And of course, my favorite split of theirs is their split with Adversarial. Absolutely phenomenal. Some of their best work is on that split with Adversarial. But moving on into 2020, Antediluvian are back. We know that in 2021 they're going to be putting out a brand new full length, but until then, we have a little bit of a taste of what's to come from them in the forms of the tracks Slipstream of Leviathan's Wake and the track Prelude. Of course, the main story of Antediluvian side of the split is the track Slipstream of Leviathan's Wake, and it pretty much sounds like Antediluvian business as usual. Very odd, weird-sounding riffs, a lot of chaotic drumming going on here. The vocals are very heavily reverbed and echoed, but you can understand what's going on, what's being said, what's being screamed and shouted at. It's just a very over-the-top sort of song, and that's what makes a song like that work and have that classic sort of Antediluvian flair going for it. And then with the track Prelude, which is in turn their version of experimental and ambient stuff, it's a very, very cold and dark way to close out this split. I think this is a very, very awesome track. And just like the track that Heresiarch did with their closing side of the split, here with Antediluvian side of the split, it's just more cold, brooding darkness, experimental sounds and musics. I mean, you definitely feel chills listening to something like that. I definitely think that's what you would feel if you listen to that particular song, if you're in the darkness with candles lit or something. It's just that crazy. But it's good to hear new material from Antediluvian, and I'm looking forward to what they have to offer in 2021, hopefully a potential Album of the Year contender. So, with that being said, if you're a fan of both of these bands, I think you're going to find something really awesome with this split. Of course, these bands are both very different in their own respective rights, but they share the common bond of being incredible at what they do, and I'm looking forward to hearing more new stuff from them as the years go along. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you a link in the description box as to how you can hold this split and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the Iron Bonehead Productions Bandcamp page. You can listen to this split in full, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worth being purchased or not. To the best of my knowledge, it is available physically as a CD and 12-inch vinyl with fold-over sleeve. If you live in Europe, you can get it through Iron Bonehead. If you happen to live outside of Europe, in the United States, I believe you can purchase copies through Nuclear War Now. I think 20 Bucks Spin had copies from the last time I checked. But yeah, this is definitely an interesting split. It's a short split, I should say. I wish it went on longer, but whatever, it's really, really good stuff. So again, the split is Defleshing the Serpent's Infinity by Heresiarch and Antediluvian. This is released on Iron Bonehead Productions. Definitely check this one out. If you've happened to have heard this split, definitely let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it, and we can go from there. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until the next time, Army out.